Richard, it's always good to see you, my friend. Really value just your thoughts on sales and career and frankly life, and always enjoy your book reviews. Um, Great topic for today. Just talking about building authentic relationships with customers, and I think it's becoming more and more and more important. The more that I do in the sales and coaching and training realm, and I know you do a lot of that as well. It's all about how to integrate these new tools and AI into still having an authentic relationship with our customers, being transparent, being communicative. What are your thoughts? How do you view the importance of and the finesse of building authentic relationships with customers in this day and age?
Well, and you and I were talking even before we started recording today, just the fact that there's so much data, so much analysis and chat, and so much AI that's out there that I think for to remain human, you really have to be self-aware more now than ever before, Carson. And what I mean by self aware, it's more than emotional intelligence, just understanding the reasons why a customer is acting or thinking the way they do. But even more importantly, understanding how you're responding and how you are acting and maybe responding the way you do and adjusting, being able to adjust to different situations. So I think that's a key thing, especially in today's world.
Something I want to hit on too. I know you've been doing a lot of training around personality profiles. And
Yes.
I think this plays really well into this discussion. And here's why. So you hit on, the tools and the AI and how they are being leveraged a lot in sales. And what I think the danger that we're going to run into is a lot of sellers who are weaker or don't feel as adept at creating authentic relationships. They're going to default to some of these methods because they think, oh, hey, I can just have ChatGPT write me an email to a customer and I can send it and
Oh,
tell them everything about me and my company. But the reality is that's not going to land. That's not going to resonate. What I think these tools do is they will actually enable you to get a meeting perhaps that you might not have gotten otherwise. I will often leverage ChatGPT or tools like Humantic AI to give me ideas of how I might be able to show up differently for this buyer because maybe they don't have the same personality as I do, based on what's out there from a LinkedIn perspective and things of that stature. But the reality is, I look back at all the great deals that I've done in my career. They all happen because of relationships. And so where I see the tools and the AI, utilize them to give you information to
absolutely.
help you formulate your perspective and ultimately figure out what is going to be the unique value. How do I show up seeking to serve? How do I show up telling a story that's going to resonate with this person so that I can build a relationship? The relationship has to be the end goal.
Well, think about that word authentic. Just think about that word for a moment because being authentic means being your true self, right? And if you're going to be your true, think about a dating website. I have no idea what those are all about, but I told a young friend of mine, actually my nephew, about a dating website. If he puts on this dating website all these cool things that he likes to do and puts the absolute best photoshopped picture of himself up there, and then he goes out on this date with this person, and that's really not who shows up, immediately that date's going to go south. Now, think about that when you're having a relationship with a customer.
Yeah.
You're not acting to become someone in front of the customer that you're not. You've got to be consistent in that you do what you say you're going to do and you're going to be who you say you're going to be. Your behaviors have to mirror, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, the values that you profess to have. And if you stand up for what you believe in, Carson, I think it allows others to influence them to follow you, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. Be who you purport to be. And at
Mm,
the end of the day, I'm an ambassador of my brand, as are you, but I'm also an evangelist for my customer. And I think often
ooh,
the value that I can bring to my customer, a lot of these executives that I connect with, I can help demystify a lot of elements. There are customers that invest very significantly with my organization. And it's important for me to show up, making sure that they're aware of resources that they're entitled to as a result of that investment. Be at the pulse of what matters to these organizations. Be able to articulate how we are helping people that are in similar scenarios. Don't look at, situations where, it's the conversation is one-sided, where they don't inherently care about what we just show up that we've gotten our
Ooh.
bag of goodies. What they care about is their day to day. And unless you understand their day to day, their budget, their pain points, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to earn the right to be a trusted advisor. And that is what building authentic relationships with customers is about, is when there's a foundation of trust and transparency. I think of great deals that I've done, and I've shared very openly, hey, these are things that are going to be strategic pillars that are going to enable me to meet you where you claim you need to be met from a budgetary perspective. Let's work together on what is a win for you. Those are the types of relationships you want. And if you have a relationship like that with a customer,
Ooh.
the deals will happen. You get to the point where it's, hey, you understand each other's timelines. You understand when you need to deliver to them so that they can report budgetary numbers, and ergo, they care when your sales cycles are, and they'll place the order to make you the hero too. Those are the types of relationships you want to have. And if you show up with your fake dating profile, ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, my nephew will never forgive me now for sharing that out for the whole world. But I think you do this, Carson, probably better than probably anybody I know, following your intuition, because that's a part of that authenticity. Um, there's what we call that helpful voice inside your head or your gut or your heart that guides you to do the right thing. And I think if we listen to that, and if we develop that keen sense of listening to that sense of intuition, it'll help guide us into some of that decision making. And what I mean by that is maybe you're talking to a customer, and so many times we share about all of the uh, mountaintop experiences, and man, this will just be amazing. Maybe you share a time that you just absolutely failed and show the human side of, because none of us are that great. There's not one of us that are super awesome superhero. So we share a time that we fail, and all of a sudden the customer sees, wow, this person in front of me actually is human, and they're sharing a failure and really opening up to me. And the next thing you know, that opens up a line of communication that you never thought you could have. So I think following your intuition is a huge thing.
Yeah, that's an exceptional example because I look back at how important it's been when you take ownership. Often you're the face of the organization that you work for to that customer that you're trying to earn that relationship with. And if something goes awry, it can't be pointing fingers and disassociating yourself from that outcome. It's got to be, hey, I own this. And while this didn't go the way we wanted it to, I want to get the feedback. I take this seriously. I want to make sure we've controlled all the controllables so that not only this doesn't happen again, but that also you have visibility into what happened and why. And I think that's the key element is we can't run from the failures. We've got to lean into them, and we got to sit in them, and we got to sit in the angst and the pain with the customers. And frankly, when you do that. You earn your keep. You earn your keep. The customer's going to want to work with you because you've been there during those dark times with them.
Yeah, and I've often said probably way too much. I've got to go ahead and write this book before somebody else does. But we are human beings first, not human doings. And I think, Carson, we oftentimes forget that human to human, we want to just talk and listen to another human being. And sometimes just that listening aspect of that failure. And yeah, I want to share with you about my product, and I want to share with you authentically what it can do and how it can really help your business. But at the same time, I want to have that human to human interaction. And that is what I think we're talking about when we're talking about this authenticity, because at the end of the day, a phrase that I banned for myself, at the end of the day, when you go home and you reflect on all of the things that have happened, it can be so easy to get off course unless you stop and look at the big picture of your career, comparing yourself to other people, uh, driving without looking at a map is what I call it, of your surroundings. And when you reflect on yourself and your identity and who you want to be and how you want to show up to your customers, you really need to take time for that reflection, because I think you will look back and you'll see that authentic self of the most happy person, the most successful, and the most yourself person, that being that authentic self, you will be pleased with.
That's poignant. It's funny. I had a boss who used to say that all the time at the end of the day. And I got to quote our mutual friend, Matt Barra. He always says
Oh,
that person to
love Matt.
person. Sales is person to person. Couldn't agree more. That's a perfect place to end that.